in this episode, we are going to be talking about micro energy behavior, what it is, how to avoid it, how to just say no. We want to just say no to micro energy behavior. This is going to be a fun one. Buckle up. So welcome to All In with Allie. I'm so happy you are here. I am currently recording this at 9:00 at night. I cannot tell you the last time I have done that. I recorded a podcast earlier today and felt really good about it. Today was actually a fantastic day. I've had such good energy and a lot of energy, just like good energy and a lot of it. And I've learned myself enough to know toward the end of the night if it's going to be one of those nights where I can't fall asleep. Like, when you go to sleep at your normal time, but you're kind of buzzing a little bit and you're like, I'm just going to see if, maybe I can just fall asleep, and you lay there and your mind is just going. I could just tell it's one of those nights for me. These happen not a lot lately because we still have a little baby that sleeps with me and doesn't sleep through the night. But yeah, I was just feeling that. So I told Chris, I was like, and then on top of that, I got the idea for this episode and I was super fired up about it. I got like really excited and I just got this feeling in my body like, you need to go record this now. And I've learned to listen to this because sometimes when you get ideas like this and you don't act on it, oftentimes we don't act on it because we either really don't have the time or we're like, it's kind of inconvenient. I'll do it tomorrow or I'll do it next time. And I know I can't record tomorrow. So I really didn't want to lose this energy. So I'm trusting, and I put the babies down and came right upstairs, and here we are. So I'm praying that this is received well, because it's a little bit of a spicy episode. I'm going to be calling out some behaviors that some of you might be doing. I'm certainly calling out some behaviors that I've done in the past before. So we've all possibly been guilty about some of these things, and this isn't a mean-spirited episode. It's just a self-awareness check on the energy you're putting out into the world. That's what it is, okay? The whole point of this is understanding, understanding, okay, if you're listening to this, you want to create some sort of business, you want to grow, you want success, you want to attract in good, positive things for yourself. And in order to do that, you need to put out good, positive energy. So if you're doing any of the things on this list, and these things that I made, these are like social media related things online. If you're doing any of these things, whether you realize it or not, you're putting out the opposite energy of what you want to attract. So this isn't a judgment. I don't want you to hear any of these things and feel bad about yourself. This is a check-in to where we can just say, hey, okay, I'm doing this thing. Are the consequences worth it to me? So I believe what you put out comes back to you. I believe like energy attracts like energy, or energy attracts like energy. What you get, what you focus on grows, what you put out comes back to you. That's what I believe. If you don't believe that, fine. You don't have to believe what I believe at all. But if you do also believe that in some way, then I just encourage you to look inward and ask yourself, is this behavior worth it coming back to me? That's the point of this episode. It really is just like a heart check, truly. It's a big ol' heart check, okay? So micro energy behavior, what is that? So this is inspired from the saying, the joke of BDE, right? Big dick energy. We've all heard it. all that means, right? There's like BDE and then there's like micro energy, right? The opposite of BDE. So this is an attack on genitalia. We love a small peen king. I feel like I don't need I don't need to explain this. I feel like you kind of get the metaphor here, but all this is like a BDE is just, it's a metaphor for confidence and power, right? Like anybody with BDE, they're just super confident or they're super in touch with their own personal power. So somebody could have a small peen and still have BDE. And conversely, somebody could have a big old shongadong and still give micro energy. And this also goes beyond men, obviously, because I am sharing it here on the podcast. And I'm thinking of this and attach this metaphor to also different behaviors, right? There's like BDE behavior and micro behavior. So this isn't just like a man thing. It's just, I'm just taking this metaphor and I'm applying it to overall behavior because why not? So BDE behavior and micro behavior, which is how we're framing this episode. So for our purposes, micro energy simply means mean-spirited and or lack of confidence / personal power. When I think of micro energy, that's what I think. I think of overcompensation because of a lack of confidence or a lack of personal power and or mean-spiritedness, also because of the same things for any reason, but usually due to lack of confidence, lack of personal power, personal autonomy, so like that's what I think of when I think of micro energy. And like I've already explained, this is the opposite of what you want to attract in your life. Energy attracts like energy. What you focus on grows. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, aka the golden rule. You want big positive results, then you need to be putting out big positive energy, not micro energy. So I made a list. It's certainly not an exhaustive list. And these are just some of the things that came up for me pretty much immediately. Like it was these things were easy for me to pull from because I see them often. Again, I've done a few of these things, I'm sure. And I want to say this too. The whole time I was making this list, I only thought of one person one time, and I'm going to give you that example. I'm going to give you an example of this specific person. I'm not going to share her name, but there's just one example like from one person because she sent me a very specific message. So I'm going to explain that to you. But none of these are directed at anybody that I know. None of these is like, so if you are somebody in my sphere, and you do any of these things, this is not like, I literally did not think of anybody like, ooh, this chick does this all the time. And no. So these are just general behaviors and things like that just came to mind very quickly that are done by nobody in my sphere because y'all are above it. Let's be honest. But again, like the whole reason why I'm sharing this is because maybe in the future, or maybe you've been tempted to do some of these things. So we just don't want to do it. We want to have that awareness and we want to work smarter, not harder, which means that we say what to micro energy? No. Just say no to micro energy. Okay. So before I get to this list, I want to tell you about this cool 2-day program that I am selling as a masterclass called Attract. So what does this mean that I'm selling it as a masterclass? All that means is that over the course of 2 days, I am going to be delivering a full, really extensive, badass program that I will later sell for hundreds of dollars that you can get access to right now for $33. Why am I doing that? Why would I take a program and sell it now for $33? Let me tell you why. Number one, I really would love to attract new people into my world and blow their minds with the type of value that I give for a very, very delicious price point. This feels very fun for me, and it's going to lead into a few other things. And the only reason why I'm not doing this for free, because you might be wondering, okay, why $33? The only reason why I'm not doing this for free is because I actually want you to show up. It's too easy to sign up for something free and then just disregard it, forget about it. And I realize for some people, $33 isn't much. It might as well be free for you. I get that, but it's something. I wanted to make it super, super, super affordable for most people, enough to where it's like, okay, it's something. So show up to the damn class, but I'm telling you, you're going to want to, you're going to want to be here. So again, Attract, it's a 2-day program on how to magnetize clients and results, AKA how to catch without the chase. So if you would love to access this before it's done and dusted and made hundreds of dollars, you can get it now for $33, and we'll put the link to that in the show notes. So I'm excited for you to get that and get access to it, and I will see you there. All right, so back to our list, micro energy behavior social media edition. Okay, I've got quite a few of these, so we're going to work through these pretty quickly. Some of them require more explanation than others. So the first thing, and these are in no particular order. These are just the order that they came to me. Okay, first, micro energy behavior. Hiding your like count. Now, hold on. There's a stipulation to this. Okay, so first of all, hiding your like count, you know how you can do that? I think you can do it per post. You can just put the thing to where nobody can see your like count. Instagram did this, I guess, to be fair, because there are people, there are teenagers on the app or little kids, and it can be very disorienting, and comparison could be a mother, and I get it. So if you do this for mental health purposes, because it's genuinely bad for your mental to show your like count, do you? This does not apply to you. Okay. So please understand that. If this has to do with your mental and it's the best thing for you, fantastic. Keep doing that and always do that. Screw what I have to say, screw what anybody has to say. The only way that this is a micro behavior is if you're hiding your like count for ego reasons, because you're trying to put out a front that you're more popular than what you are, or that you're worried that people are going to see a low like count and perceive you as less influential, right? If you're doing this for ego reasons, this is micro behavior. Why? Because in my opinion, and this is all my opinion, okay, so take it or leave it. Who am I? Who cares? But this is just my opinion, okay? For me, this is micro behavior because it shows a lack of confidence and a lack of belief in your craft and what you put out into the world. If you really believed your stuff was worth listening to, watching, reading, then whether 3 million people, 3,000, or 3 people liked it, you would be like, I get it. And that's all that matters. That's the kind of confidence that we want with our stuff. If it's not there yet, it's not there yet. That's fine. And we can always have the energy of I want to be better and my stuff will be better. So great. Own where you're at. Who cares that you get 30 something likes on a post or whatever? First of all, Instagram engagement is trash right now. I don't care who you are. Across the board, I see very, very popular accounts that get engagement that I feel in the past would probably been very, very different. So the landscape of Instagram engagement simply has changed. Plus, Instagram very openly plays the lottery strategy, or slot machine strategy. Anyway, the whole point of this strategy, and they've been doing this since the beginning of time, and this really works, is they can't let you win every single time. Even if you are putting out really good content, if you like figured out the algorithm and you know how to put out good content, and you know every single time you post, you're going to get hundreds, thousands of likes, you would get bored because it's not a game to you anymore, right? Like we actually become addicted to this notion of like, ooh, okay, I'm going to give it my best and I still don't know if I'm going to roll the dice and I don't know if I'm going to win. This has been proven to be very addictive to us and it keeps us coming back for more clearly. All right? So like you got to just anyway, like I just feel like you hiding your like counts for ego reasons, it just shows a lack of confidence and belief in what you put out there. And to me, that's like an underlying thing that we need to clean up a little bit. I think that that's just, it's telling a bigger story. That's why I consider it micro energy behavior. But again, if it has to do with your mental, do you? I'm proud of you. You should be proud of being your ally and doing what you need to do, period. So that's number one. Second micro energy behavior we want to say no to is kind of similar, and it's buying engagement or followers or anything of any sort. I don't even really know if that's a thing anymore, but I'd be shocked if it wasn't. I feel like it's always going to be a thing because it goes to the same problem, egos, right? Like faux fame, faux confidence, faux. Micro energy. So to me, if you're going that extreme to buy engagement or followers of any sort, obviously it's a lack of confidence. It's a lack of belief in your own ability to create strong engagement over time. And it also shows ignorance on your understanding of how the algorithm works, because that's honestly the last thing that you want to do. So I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Moving on. Next, micro energy behavior, a big one and an obvious one, but needs to be included because this is a social media edition. Bullying online of any sort, the ultimate micro energy behavior. Okay. Why? Because it's mean-spirited. It's unnecessary. It's childish. It shows like the most lack of confidence. That is like insidious level of like something's happening there. So not only is there something like below the hood that we need to look at, but also like when we're thinking the type of energy you want to attract back to you, couldn't be further from what I would assume you want to bring into your life, you know? So bullying online of any sort, the ultimate micro energy, just say no. Next, generalizing or isolating whole populations of people with your content, with your message. What does that mean? So I'm going to give 2 examples of this. This usually happens, this happens all the time, but especially when there's some sort of hot topic, some sort of like political movement going on, some sort of awful terrorist activity or something happen, like a shooting or something like that. Like you'll see these things spark. But I'm going to give you 2 examples that kind of blew my mind a little bit. Do you remember when the Balenciaga situation popped off, right? Balenciaga is a massive fashion brand. They put out this new shoot. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, they put out this, all these new pictures for their new fashion line, drop, whatever. Anyway, these, you probably know what I'm talking about, but like it was using, there's like a children's line, and they were using these kids, and the undertone was like very sexualized, and there were all these like Easter eggs of pedophilia and like just weird nasty, dark energy. It was like BDSM related. They were using these kids, and it was just like, whoa, what is happening? And there was this massive uproar. And a lot of people were speaking out on it and were, kind of canceling Balenciaga. And I shared a couple of things just out of complete disgust. I was like, dude, this is kind of insane. How is this like so like how my thing was like, how does a brand feel so emboldened to do something that extreme? I don't get it. So it's just my personal opinion. And I got a message from somebody who I know, and she meant well, right? And she was just like, well, if you're mad about this, you also need to unfollow and stop shopping with the following brands. And she gave me like a list of brands. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she sent me this post from this like random radicalized account. It was just like very, I don't know how to explain it. Very, very like strong and like canceling and like calling out these brands. And it was like this carousel where it was like, it named like a big brand and why you need to stop, why they need to be canceled, why you need to stop shopping with them, and why you need to like speak out against, to burn them down to the ground, essentially. And it was this carousel. So it was like show one brand, and I'm not going to name any of the brands, but it was like, funds, blah, 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 which has been linked to pedophiles or something crazy, which like, okay, interesting. Definitely need to look into that. And then another one was like linked to blah, 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 which was also like, in my opinion, and by the way, this is just like, it's so subjective, but it was like, okay, that's interesting. I guess I can kind of see, why people might be mad about that. And then another one was another brand because they support Pride. And I was like, oh, hold up. Wait a second. First of all, this brand is lumped in with all of these other, like, in my opinion, more problematic brands for like the things that they're doing behind the scenes, things that like you're really raising your eyebrows, or you're really like, damn, if that's the truth, which by the way, let's fact check these things. But if that's the truth, hell no, like Balenciaga level, like that's sadistic or just bad. But then like to lump in a business because they support Pride, like a whole population of people because they're gay? Excuse me? These things are not the same. One thing is not like the other. And I was just so, I was so like, and I didn't say anything. I was like, okay, and I, again, okay, she's clearly just, that's her opinion, which I respect her opinion. I didn't say anything. I didn't try and argue it. I was like, this is dangerous to me when you're lumping in and you're generalizing and isolating whole groups of people, right? Like whether you believe in something or not, to denounce a whole population of people wrong or bad because of a foundation that's for those type of people, does something you disagree with, or it's like, quote, shoving it down your throat. Do you see what you're doing here? This is very dangerous. These are real people with real hearts, and like, they're not doing anything wrong, and they're certainly not doing anything to you. So to me, what was so shocking was the lack of awareness of why this was problematic, right? So that's one example. And then another example, and I've shared this before, but I have shared that I don't understand how people can only listen or only surround themselves with people that think exactly like they do, right? Where like they only follow people on social media, they only watch shows, they only listen to content of people that are strictly aligned to their personal beliefs. I think that is problematic because you're only hearing one point of view and it's assuming that yours is right and others are wrong. And who's to say anybody is right or wrong, right? So like I've just shared, and I don't care what you do. But I've shared before that I like to like there are people that I just like, period, as the human, even if we have differing beliefs. This to me, it's allowed to coexist, right? So there's things and people that I follow, maybe on social media or their podcasts that, again, I'm not necessarily like super aligned with all of their beliefs, but I just like them as a person. So this one person in particular, I followed her podcast. I didn't even really understand, like I knew how she was politically affiliated. But like, I just liked her. I thought she was a firecracker. I thought she was incredibly intelligent, incredibly articulate. She's young. She's bold. I mean, she's just, in my opinion, like just from what the little bit I'd seen, like what a badass, you know? I don't, again, not fully aligned with the things that you believe in. Cool. Who cares? But like, she just inspired the hell out of me, just like the way that she showed up and carried herself and the success that she's creating and the name that she's created for herself at her age, right? So I subscribed to her podcast. And every once in a while, I'll listen because I'm just interested in other people's perspectives. What a concept. And listen, I get it. I know how the game works. I know that for some of these, especially political aligned celebrities, personalities, shows, the game is polarization. The game is clickbait, right? You've got to stand out on some level. And okay, so I know how these things work. And I also personally feel like this person is big enough to where, and I feel like a newer generation, I just kind of was hoping for like a younger, fresher, more evolved take on some things. But what I found instead was this gross generalization of a whole half population, right? So she's on one side and and I'm not going to get specific here, even though you probably know what I'm talking about already. But like, if you're not on her quote side, you hate babies. You think you don't care about your kids and you wouldn't care if you don't believe in genders. You want all babies to be aborted. Like these gross, I don't know how else to say it except generalizations, right? Like, I don't know how else to say it. And it's just so wild to me because and again, I don't care what your political affiliation is. For me, it's issue per issue. It's like, okay, on this side, I'm aligned with these specific issues. On the other side, I'm aligned to these specific issues. I really don't see how everybody is not actually that way, but it becomes this ego-driven thing, which fine. Again, who cares? Do you? But this whole, if you are on this side or you support this specific thing, then these blanket statements that are atrocious. I can't think of a bigger micro energy because it's ignorant, it's divisive, and potentially dangerous. Okay, so that's just my stance on it. So there's that. There's gray area, right? There's nuance. There's never just it's never just one thing. Like you can feel how you feel about anything, but you have to understand that is your personal opinion based on your life, how you were raised through everything that you lived in your life has created this very specific filter that makes you feel a certain thing and believe a certain thing. You do realize there are other religions on the planet, right? You do realize there are other people that worship other things. You do realize not everybody feels the exact same way that you do. So does that make them wrong? Does that make them gross? Does that make them bad or dangerous or evil? Some people, the answer is yes, and that's wild. Wild. And is setting us back. And again, micro energy. Who knows what's right or wrong? Nobody knows. You make up your own beliefs. You do you. Like, you have personal autonomy on your life. Okay. For the most part, most people do. And we're not going to get into, we're not going to go there, because I already can hear people and what they're saying of like, oh, do I? But like, and I get it. But for the most part, if you're living in America, like, you get to make your decisions and your choices. So do that. But don't make, again, whole populations of people evil or bad or wrong because they're not, or they're living in a way that's not aligned with how you would live your own. You don't want to expose yourself to that or your kids to that. You don't want to make those decisions for your kids or your life. Don't. And I'm not saying don't stand up for things and support specific causes. And like, if you are a social justice warrior, please, we need you, right? Like that. There's a big difference between that and fighting for something that you really believe needs to be fought for. But then again, that it still needs to come with understanding what nuance is, and that not everything is so black and white. That's it. Micro energy. Okay. This is followed by also a very similar sentiment, which is unfollowing / hating because you disagree on anything, but especially just one thing, right? I think it's just, I don't want to give my opinion. I mean, I've been given my opinion, but it's micro energy. You don't have to agree with every single thing that everybody agrees with. You'd probably be hard pressed to find those people. In a lot of cases, we are different. We're meant to be different. And just because you and I might disagree on a couple of political points, does that mean that we can't get along? Does that mean that you can't respect me or want to follow me and vice versa? I don't think so. So I would just encourage you, like, the next time you're following somebody that you like for whatever reason, you follow them for a reason, you like them for a reason. And then the day that they say something that you're like, oh, I don't like that. I disagree. Check yourself on like what the next action is that you're feeling the urge to act on. Are you feeling the urge to immediately unfollow them because y'all happen to disagree on something? Are you feeling the urge to send a nasty message, to leave a nasty comment on their stuff, to leave a nasty review? What comes up next for you? This is the level of, this is what you want to pay attention to. Micro energy. It's showing a lack of personal power and autonomy. Okay, moving on to the next one. This is a little lighter. Okay. This is a little lighter. You're like, thank God. Same. Overthinking engagement / story views. This is a big one. For me, this shows, again, a lack of confidence. It also is distraction behavior and procrastination behavior. If you are really focused and lit up by what you do and what you're creating, you're not going to care who is watching your stories or overthinking, oh gosh, my engagement was this yesterday and now it's down 200 people. What's happening in the algorithm? Is Instagram down? Does Instagram hate me? Am I shadow banned? Am I this? Am I doing something wrong? You should be like, who gives a flying what? First of all, just know how Instagram works. Again, your engagement's just going to go up and down, period. And two, I want you to have the level of confidence. And if you're not there yet, it's okay. I didn't come out the freaking womb confident about my content and my engagement. Okay. It took me some time to get here. So I've been the person who has overthought the engagement, the story views, and all of the things. I promise you that. But when you get to the other side and you found your thing and your flow of like how you create, when you've found your voice, I think that's the key. When you have found your voice and you feel confident that like, this is who I am, take it or leave it, you care so much less about not only what people think, but those little stupid metrics that don't mean jack shit at the end of the day. Like they literally mean nothing. Nothing. We're playing a game that who cares? And I get it. Like, yes, more engagement means more people seeing your stuff, means maybe more sales at the end of the day or whatever. But like, this is a long game. It's never your business, your content is never going to be made or broken from one shitty day of engagement or one good day of engagement. It's just a never-ending every single day thing. So if you are spending your energy and your precious time scrolling your story views and overthinking, oh, so-and-so saw the last story and she skipped this one, or so-and-so saw this story and she didn't inquire about this offer. Oh God, does this mean that, what are you doing? Stop. It's not a good use. It's not. You are doing yourself a disservice. Focus on what you can control, which is your action and your energy. Create the very best content that you can, whatever your mode is, create that, put it out into the world, let go and let God, and move on to the next thing. Because I know you got other things that you need to be doing. Or if you don't, go live your life. Get off of the phone. Put it out and move on. Ghost. It's fun. BDE. All right. And then the last thing that I have here for now, and I'd be so interested if you have more to add to this, maybe we'll do a part 2. You can message me and be like, you forgot this one, because I know I forgot a lot of them. But the last one that we're going to cover is stealing people's content. In any way, shape, or form, whether it be a post, whether it be a program, God forbid, like something, God forbid, I'm dramatic, but I pray this isn't something that, like somebody's signature process or, program. You hear people doing that, like buying a program and like taking all of the content and making their own and relaunching it as their own. That's like the ultimate bad business karma. But don't do that. But, this could be anything. You seeing something online and saying, hey, wow, I love how she said that. And either copying and pasting it and posting it as your own. Or I've seen people do this, literally copy and paste a caption and then go and change just a few keywords. So instead of like Instagram, they would say social media. Instead of energy, they might say frequency, right? And be like, oh, it's mine now. Stop. That's called plagiarism. Just stealing of anything. What it is lack. That's what it is. It's you saying, I like this, and there's no way I could create anything comparable. I'm not even going to try. So it's lack and it's lazy. put that out into the world, tell me you want to get it back. You don't. You don't. So don't do it. Say no. Say no to micro. Say no to stealing people's stuff. Now, sometimes there are people out there who've spent their careers cultivating a message and they say something in the most concise, powerful, succinct way that like you just can't mess with. Like there's no way to say it better than that. And trying to say it any differently is just a disservice to the message. Fine. Share the message and give that person credit. There's a different, like that's a different thing. Give the person credit. There's nothing wrong with that. And you being fearful of tagging somebody in your stuff or sharing like, hey, I love this person's work. Or, hey, I heard this thing that really lit me up and I want to share it here. Shout out to blah, blah, blah. You not doing that out of fear that your people are then going to be led to that person is lack. That is a lack of confidence in your ability to create something worth listening to, worth sticking around for, and your lack of confidence in your ability to sell in whatever, many different things. Clean it up. If that's really how you feel, don't judge yourself for it. It's where you're at. We've all been there on some level, you know, this like lack mentality when it comes to our work. So again, there's nothing to judge yourself for. It's just be better. Want to be better and then do better. When you know better, you do better. Okay, I don't like how that feels. I don't like how it feels when I feel like I need to literally copy and paste somebody else's work because I can't come up with my own. How can I improve? Okay, I'm going to start practicing and putting out my own stuff until I find my voice. Perfect. I don't like how it feels when I want to give somebody credit because I got this idea and I don't want to copy them. So I want to do the right thing. I want to give them credit, but I'm worried that when I do that, other people are going to want to follow them over me. I don't like that. Okay. So do it anyway and trust that you're going to be okay. Trust that people vibe with different people. There are a lot of people that don't vibe with me. Like I say this all the time. What I sell and like the type of topics and the things that I share, many people talk about very similar things. I feel like I talk about my own stuff in a very unique way. And some people really fucks with that, right? Some people are like, I just love how she shares her stuff and the way that she shares it. And there are other people that hate it, that do not vibe with me. I don't get it. Actually, I do. I painfully get it. Painfully get it. But like, you're going to vibe with the different people. So yeah, some people might want to follow the person that you share, have an abundance mindset. You fearing that they're going to go follow them and leave you in the dust and never come back is in a belief in a finite amount of success, a finite amount of influence. That's not true. That's a lie. So fix that belief and then you're going to feel more like sharing people's stuff and less fearful about it, right? So anyway, like I said, obviously this isn't an exhaustive list. Please, again, if I said something that triggered you or made you feel some type of way, let me just say again, I've done a few of these myself. I'm always speaking to myself. This is not something to throw shade, or this is not something meant to put shame or judgment on anybody. It's literally the whole point is, in my opinion, if you're doing these things, you are putting out the opposite energy of what I know you want to bring into your world. I know as a business owner, you want to attract positive vibes and prosperity. And if you're doing these things on this list in any way, shape, or form, you are inviting and calling in the opposite of positive and prosperity. That's it. So it's just a little self-awareness check, a little heart check, a little ego check that we could all use from time to time. So that's all that I have for you today. If you enjoyed this, I would love nothing more if you gave us 5 stars on iTunes, and or if you would like to share this out to your people and tag me. I would love to see that so I can thank you. Again, if you have any more to add to this and we should do a part 2, message me and I'll start creating another list. And then again, if you want to join us for Attract, the 2-day program that I am selling for only $33, the first round, which is a program on how to magnetize clients and results, how to catch without the chase, go to the link in the show notes and you can grab it if it is still available. And even if you're listening to this in the future and the price is now the normal price, I can promise you it will be more than worth it. I love you. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you here next time. Bye.